I want to briefly touch on some of the primary duties for directors on the board, and this is regardless of if you're a non-executive director or an executive director like yourself. There's three broad categories, like I said, that are talked about a lot. The first one is the fiduciary duty. So this is around trust. This is around not misusing your information or misusing your position. Obviously, at the board level, you are privy to lots of information, and it's important that information doesn't go or is used inappropriately. The other thing that covers, of course, is conflict of interest, which is a really key part of understanding your role. Where there are conflicts of interest, there are agreed processes for handling that, and that's documented in the board charter for MPB. And you must also act in good faith. So your role on the board is to serve the company as an organisation and how you can take MPB forward and deliver on its strategy or get to where you need to be. You must act in good faith. That's considered part of your fiduciary duty as an executive director on the board. So your board induction will take you through this in more detail, but I think it's important to have that understanding. There's also the care and diligence duty, and this relates specifically to having a reasonable understanding of what's going on in the organisation and you're doing your job diligently, so you're not acting with negligence. This is really important, I think, for everyone to understand, because the board will often hone in on information that you may consider to be just too detailed or too low level or something. This is often a particular director or the board as a whole ensuring that they're fulfilling their diligence duty by asking the right questions for querying data or reports or what have you to come through. So when you see that coming through, it's not micromanagement necessarily. It's probably really the board ensuring that they are fulfilling their care and diligence duty. Then there's a whole bunch of other duties, which we call the day-to-day duties that are required, and they come from various areas of law, so it will depend on what's actually being presented to the board at the time. A whole bunch of other duties. Chairman can take you through that as they come up on a specific case-by-case basis, but the board charter at MPB also covers that in a fair amount of detail. The only other thing I probably wanted to talk about with these particular duties is the way they're set out through the board induction program and the way they're documented in the board charter make it very clear that these accountabilities and responsibilities start within the board, but they absolutely flow down into the MPB ecosystem and they become part of the way we do business around here. So, governance is just kind of the way we do it around here, and these terms you'll actually see repeated in the Code of Conduct, which is a document accessible and reviewed by all staff annually. So it kind of flows down. So whilst this is targeted at directors, these are core parts of the decision-making framework and values-based framework that exists at Purple Bicycle, and you'll see them repeated throughout the governance linked documents in the organisation.